Hello, Bobby Torres of Frightbox Recording here. So in this video, I will be explaining to you why I've decided after over a decade of mixing and producing full time, why I've decided this year to quit taking mixing projects from bedroom musicians and local bands. Let's dive into it. Okay, so before we dive into the video and before I dive into the exact reasons why I've decided to quit taking on mix work from bedroom musicians and local musicians, I just wanna let you know that all of the information that I'm about to share with you is highly relevant if you happen to be a bedroom musician, or maybe you're in a local band, or maybe you're in a band and you're planning on producing your own music. There's a lot to be learned here, so be sure to save yourself time, stress, money, and pay attention. And also, before I dive into the reasons, I wanna be clear on one other point. I will still be mixing in my business productions that I have produced and recorded myself. So of course, if I produce a band and I'm the one that recorded the band, I will still mix those projects because these days that's where my passion really lies. I'm strictly talking about people sending me their multi-tracks that they recorded themselves, looking for some magical mix and master that's going to save their music, which it usually doesn't, and that's what I want to talk about. So reason number one why I've decided to quit mixing bedroom musicians and local bands. And the reason is most people do not edit their tracks. And when I say editing, I mean editing across the board. No one's editing drums. Very few people really know how to program drums, and people are generally too lazy to tune vocals properly. Here's the thing, when you listen to your favorite records, most modern records and even older records are heavily edited and very well produced. You can't half-ass a recording and then send it to a pro and expect them to turn it into gold. It doesn't work like that. As a matter of fact, I found that it's actually quicker for me to just produce and record and edit a band myself than to try and clean up unedited subpar tracks that people send me. And I am not exaggerating. Believe me. All right, now the second reason why I've quit taking mixed projects from bedroom musicians and local bands is that most people have no idea how to manage files. Now, I even have a PDF that has crystal clear instructions on how I want files sent to me. And the truth is, I think people are just too lazy to read the PDF. I don't know what it is. When I send this PDF to other pro producers, I never have a problem. Back in the day, generally it's when I send the PDF to like a bedroom guitar player or maybe a local band that's trying to track their own band. People send me files that are all over the place, nothing is labeled, nothing makes sense. And again, I spend more time prepping files than actual mixing. File management is not rocket science. All you have to do is clearly label your files, keep things organized, and that's about it. But for some reason, I don't know, seems to be tough for people. Okay, and the third reason why I've decided to no longer take mixed projects from local bands and bedroom musicians is that people record too many unnecessary layers that make absolutely no sense. You do not need to quad track your guitar solos. You do not need to have 17 synth layers all doing the same thing with the same sound. You do not need 20 vocal layers happening throughout the entire song just because you can. See, here's the thing. Pro producers know what ingredients are key, and they capture those ingredients with intention. Now, I cannot blame people. I used to do the same thing back when I got started. But when you add all of this together, no editing, poor file management, and layers upon layers upon layers of takes that aren't even well recorded, trying to fix these projects and mix these projects takes infinitely more work than just producing a band and mixing a band completely on my own. Now, there are some exceptions here. I have worked with a handful of local bands that have self-produced that have done a great job. But believe me, that is more the exception and not the rule. Unfortunately, most of the time, the tracks people send me are a disaster. Now, you might be thinking that I only want to work on my own productions because I'm using better gear, I'm recording in a pro studio. That's not the case. Gear is irrelevant. It's that most of us are so focused on the mix that we don't actually pay enough attention to the songwriting, the tracking, and the editing. Now, that's why this information is so crucial and so important for people looking to self-produce their own music. Mixing is only a small part of the entire production process. If you are not capturing your sources properly, and you are not editing, and you are not programming your drums properly, and if you're not tracking your tracks with intention, you're not gonna have a good mix. It doesn't matter who you send it to. Now on this topic, I don't want you to be caught in this constant cycle that so many of us get stuck in. And because of this, I've put something together called my Polished Production Checklist. It's a simple PDF checklist that outlines my entire production process that I follow when I produce music so that you can strictly focus on the things that actually matter and so that you can produce pro level results with the gear you already have. A better mix is not always the answer. It's almost never the answer. It's getting your production right at the source. The Polished Production Checklist is absolutely free right now, and you can have direct access by clicking the link below in this video's description. Again, of course, I'm still mixing my own productions. I will still collaborate with other pro producers. And these days I do a lot of live production where I'll multi-track bands live with video. As a matter of fact, I have a whole second YouTube channel called Frightbox Productions where I feature the bands that I record live in my studio. If you're interested, there's a link below to that YouTube channel in this video's description. And also, if you are serious about production and you'd like to get things right at the source so you can in turn end up with a pro mix, I highly recommend checking out this video that I'm linking above in the cards. It shows in crystal clear detail how I start all of my productions, and I think you'll find it valuable. So many of us, again, are obsessed with mixing, and there are a million mix tutorials online. And yes, mixing is important, but production as a whole is infinitely more important. Till next time, drink that Spindrift.